Hi, this is Gio, and today is April 18th, 2016. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these Construct 2 tutorial videos, and that means that I'm going to be more rusty than I usually was before. So I'm going to show you how to add a platform behavior to an object, move that object around, and add animations so that the movement looks smooth instead of it being glitchy. Now, what I'm going to do is actually something that exists in games such as Mario. And if you haven't heard of Mario, you should play Mario, because it's one of the oldest and most popular Nintendo games ever made. So to get started, we're going to click our screen twice, and then we're going to add a sprite called player. So our player is the object that we are going to be adding this platform behavior to. I'm making the width and height of my player 64 by 64 because it falls in line with the size of the image I'm going to import shortly. So now I can go to my player's behaviors and I can add the platform behavior. And there's two ways I can do that, which is the way I just showed you, or you can also go to the Properties tab and just click it. And then I go to Platform, Add Platform, and this player is now a platformer. So naturally that means I can move my player around and he or she will exhibit platformer behaviors. Now if you saw what just happened, my player fell through the ground. And to fix that, you make the ground a solid. So Construct 2 recognizes when a player has collided with the floor if your player has hit a solid. If you're moving to the right and you hit another solid, that could be something like a wall. So the concept is that a solid is a boundary that separates your player from wherever it's going. Now when I run this, my platform behavior will work. And I can even jump. So by pressing the arrow keys or jumping, I replicate the behavior of Mario in the Super Nintendo when the game originally came out. Now, there's one main problem we haven't addressed, which is the movement itself. Now, if I have a block, moving like this is fine, because you can't really tell that anything's wrong. However, if this block was a character from a game, and I moved in the same fashion, you actually would think that something's wrong with the game, because my player looks like he's on a hoverboard now. And if he's not on a hoverboard, something is really wrong, because my player is moving without actually moving. So this is where animations come in. And animations are not that hard to add in Construct. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So the default animation is going to be for when our player is standing still. However, I'm going to add another animation called walking, which is going to support all of the frames for when my character walks through this level. And I am going to add one more frame after this, and the animation will look something like this when I end up walking. So that looks pretty fluid. And next we want to set loop to yes, because if we don't turn this loop on, our character will stop after this frame, and that's not going to be good when we're moving. So that initial step has added the second frame, but if I try to move, nothing really changes because I haven't called this new frame yet. Or better yet, I haven't called this new animation that I've created. So the way we can fix that is by adding an event to an event sheet. And we can grab this condition, player is moving, and then we can now use our animation frames when our player is moving. So we called it walking, and that's how we know to reference it. And then if we're not moving, we're just going to use the default. And the default is called default. So we can kick this off, and it may surprise you how easily we've started actually moving. Now you may notice this is still a problem because we're only walking in one direction, and while this may be okay for some games, it's not okay for all. So I'm going to show you how to invert your movement, or in other words, turn your player around. So the way to do that is you may actually need a keyboard object in your game. And the keyboard is going to allow you to record when you press an arrow. So in this case, we're going to record when we press the left or right arrows. So when the left arrow is down, that means we're going to flip our player horizontally. And the way we do that is by setting mirrored. So setting mirrored does a horizontal flip. And then we're going to also record if we hit the right key and that's down. So if the right arrow is down, then we're going to set our player to not mirrored. And that undoes the horizontal flip, or it actually applies another horizontal flip, technically speaking, and you end back in the same place you were originally. So when I run this, my player can actually move in two directions. And I'm reusing the same animation called walking, and it allows me to move both ways. So I've used a little bit of math to apply a transformation to my player, and that way I can reuse the same walking animation instead of doubling my work. So that was it, and it's pretty impressive how easy Construct is in terms of implementing something like this. I basically got game style movement, in a short amount of time. So, thanks.